Yep, I like your postcard, dude. Picture of a mouse on a rock in the wilderness enjoying the moonrise. Now, if I know anything about mice at night in the woods, this little dude is probably wondering, where is the owl? He may get dive bombed and snatched off that rock. Yeah, could happen. Cute postcard though. It was sent to me by Dan from the UK. He writes, "Dear Nut and Fancy, your videos are a source of happiness, so I thought I'd return the favor. You have an appreciation for the details of life, so I thought you might enjoy this card." I did. Very cute. "I'm a Canadian living in London, UK for 2 months away from my wife, my family, being a son and daughter. I've spent more time than I care to admit watching your videos while here." Glad to hear it, bro. "I'm also a VP at a PR firm and must admit your speech at the Capitol rocked, even for a Canadian." Thank you. He's talking about after Sandy Hook, I was very politically vocal fighting the gun stuff that came down the pike, and I may have to rise to that level again. We'll see what happens. I just have a feeling more of this anti-gun stuff is coming big time, and it's just such a tough battle to fight, but we'll fight it, you know, when it gets here again, and I'll need your help when we do that. He says, "Please keep doing what you do. P.S. I own a 7.3 pound Colt Canada SA 20-inch, which you should review. Heavy profile and extra thick chrome lining." That's from Dan, sent to me from the UK. He is a Canadian. Couple pictures, and I have them mixed up. I apologize, but look at this cute family, TMPers. Let's see if they wrote it on the back. Oh, here we go. We got Amanda, Brandon, and Evelyn. That is Outer Banks, North Carolina. One on the way, so they'll have two little kids. Very cute. Evelyn geared up for an adventure with Dad. This is 2010. Heck, I may have had this letter for a long time. Sorry. "A great reason to skip the occasional adventures with the guys and soak up the greatest adventure, Evelyn." Oh, well, I'm showing you the wrong picture. This is one I should be showing you right here. There you go. Nice. So I guess these are all from him. "A few adventure bros are our daughters on vacation." And then they have a picture of sledding. These guys get out and get it done, man. This is so cool. "Colorado ski trip with wife Amanda and ski buddy." That's in 2009. I hope you guys are still around, still watching. This one, where did his patch go? Here it is. Sent to me, says, "Brother, here are 2 patches from the Maine Army National Guard. 133rd Engineering Battalion, CBT Heavy. We are derived from the 20th Maine and were created by Joshua Chamberlain. Patch is simple. Maine gets first sunlight every day, and we are the Pine Tree State. Hope all is well with the family and dogness. Moose, Maine Department, Special Ops. P.S. Yes, it is Gorilla Tape." I think he had it on the back for me to put it on. I don't know. Okay, now this is kind of funny. And I'm really careful about what products I'll roll into QTN. I'm pretty much anti-products in QTN because I don't like guys just sending stuff looking for free publicity, and they usually will shotgun it out to all types of YouTube channels, throwing up, you know, a bunch of stuff on the wall, and hopefully some of it sticks. But if I get the sense the guys are really a TMPer and the product is good, then I'll talk about it, and this is kind of a cool way to integrate a mini review. So this is Aneko Jorge in France, and he has designed a tool for sight adjustment. It's cool. And the funny thing is, this is hilarious, is he sent me 2 packages. This is the first, and it was just in the bin. I never got to it. Never took it out until today, to be totally honest with you guys. And man, it's a package. I mean, big, thick instruction book, and his design, he's got a freaking DVD-ROM in there. Big, long letter, which I'm sorry I never got around to reading. Sorry, not that. Well, here's the deal. Since it's a product and guys are wanting publicity, it kind of, the other guys take priority on that. But then Tactical Doodle got into it. He's like, "You ought to read this guy's letter. He seems like a real TMPer. He's cool, and I think you'll like his product." And I guess he's right. He really is. Where'd his letter go? Here it is. I'll jump through it real quick. "Dear Nut and Fancy, last fall I sent you a new product I developed for a new company I established in conjunction with my wife as she battles unemployment. At the time, I thought my product I was about to release was squared away, but judging by your lack of response and a few comments you have made in a video here and there, it wasn't." Well, that is so funny. I never saw your product, But apparently this is Gen 1 of his sight pusher, and now I'm holding Gen 2. Since the release of our sight tool, we have had many customer feedback and that we have been paying close attention to and using it to improve our product. We are not yet done with all the improvements. He goes on to say the plates of the tool are heat treated to avoid them getting permanently bended with ease. The bending is important as to warn the user over tightening or denting. So let's take a look at this. I have looked at it. I haven't used it. I've gotten to the point in life where I can pretty much tell if something's squared away or not, and I think this will be. So it's going to go on each side of the pistol slide. Then he has hardened steel screw inserts and a sight pusher. And then that will adjust your sight. Look how compact it is. Like that. If I can find his website or his contact information, I'll put it at the top of the screen and also in the write-up description. Here's his diagram of how it puts on the pistol. Basically what I was just describing. How it puts together like that. Excellent. So this is called the RST, the rear sight tool, designed in France. And anyways, he says a lot in his letter, but for time, I really don't have a lot of time. He talks about the improvements made to Gen 2. I'm sending my products to TNP again because I know I can redeem the awful first impression. Dude, you didn't make a bad first impression. I just didn't see it, sorry. As a very long double owl, I do feel that Nut and Fancy should see the TNP values are now running my products, business, and ultimately my life. I'm flattered, thank you. The same way, if they suck, thank you for letting me know. I would like to conclude my letter by letting you know I do love the moto and car content. Nice. I try to keep up watching the videos, but unfortunately sometimes I don't get to them all, but I get to them later. Thanks. Also, let Doodle know his videos rock. So Doodle's channel is at the top. That's my son. He has some hilarious, very honest videos. If you like TNP, you'll like Tactical Doodle's channel. And then we go on to next up, I think this is Andrew Dixon in Elkhorn, Nebraska. He is a police officer and he writes the following. My name is Andrew and I would like to start off by thanking you for your service in both the military and the law enforcement. Also, thank you for your videos. I want to write to you about a video you posted on 10/18/14 regarding red light cameras and speed cameras. I did, and I hate those things. I've been a police officer for 8 years and would like you to know that I too am against red light cameras and radar cameras. I live in Nebraska, and fortunately these cameras have not been put into service anywhere in the state. However, there is currently no statute that prohibits these devices. Your video motivated me to write all 49 of our state senators. Wow, good for you. I'm on my REI FlexLight chair on the hillside, so if I tip over and I go rolling away, you'll know why. In the letter, I pointed out the specific issues I have with cameras and asked for the legislature to create a state law that would prohibit their use anywhere in Nebraska. It goes on, I've already been contacted by some senators, agree with my letter. They'll introduce a bill next legislative session. I hope other TNP viewers who live in Nebraska will also contact their senators in support of the bill. I think that's an excellent thing. Police officer Andrew Dixon. So here we see another pro-LE police officer going out and doing the right thing for freedom. And that's the best way to preempt these cameras. Here's why I'm against them. And a lot of arguments. I'll do this super quick because we have so much to cover. A lot of people can make good comments and arguments for speed cameras, and what's becoming more prevalent are license plate recording cameras, which records every license plate as it passes on the street. I have a huge issue with that. The reason is because it's not freedom. It's not, I think that's anti-constitutional to be able to go where you want to go without being tracked. I think that is a right that we have as a people for them to look up. And I just heard of a crime recently that was solved by one of these cameras. They're like, well, we put this individual at this intersection at this time because we checked our records, and lo and behold, all they have to do is type in the license plate number, and the computer and the camera system can search it out and go, yeah, we saw that camera at this intersection at this time. It's kind of like and I don't want to get into some huge rant here because I'm a middle of the roader. I'm not an extremist by any means, but it's kind of like the national ID card system, people tracking, and then if guns become illegal, they do checks. Can you imagine that system being in place then? Forget it. I don't like it. So it's good to see a police officer against that, the speeding cameras. If you guys have them in your state, you need to get politically active and overturn them. There are organizations which fight those. You should give to those organizations. Enough said. Number 3, we talked about, ENCO. So we're going to talk about Charlie, and he is a 20-year sheriff. He writes, "Enclosed is my flashlight, a single AA powered through night. Over the years, I've been through many brand, shapes, sizes, battery types, lights." Oh, by the way, dude, I brought it with me on my motor trip, so it's kind of dirty. This is a light he sent me. Never heard of it. Sorry. Why didn't you buy something I reviewed, dude? This is probably a cool light. And I've said in my last flashlight reviews, there are so many great lights. I won't cover even a fraction of them. You almost can't go wrong. There's so many good ones. But that O light, S20 and S20R, whew, it looks very similar to this, by the way. I really love it. And I've noticed also, and you can't do it with this one, but that S20R, because the clip is the other way, you can actually clip it to your headband and use it as a headlamp. I know, I'm a nerd sometimes. I have to say this is my all-time favorite light. The only way I could think to make it better is to have it signed by you. If you would, please engrave it, send it back in the closed envelope. Please don't over-engrave the factory writing. Okay, I'll make an exception for you, but please don't send me items that I haven't reviewed for signing. Because I don't know anything about this light. So here's my name going to be on it, and then lo and behold, it fails. It's an integrity issue, sorry. But since you're so cool in your letter, I will sign it for you. I also have a topic discussion for your next Q&A video. Flying. Do you fly general aviation? Do you own a plane? If so, what kind? What are your opinions of the current state of general aviation, including light sport concept? What, if anything, needs to be done to general aviation? Super quick, I don't own a plane. I do borrow a P-51 Mustang a lot. I wish. I'm totally kidding. I don't. I am planning to, I do fly occasionally, and I hope to integrate that. And you're not the only one in this episode of QTN that wants me to do this in TMP. We might open that up just as a small subset. Like motorcycles are a very small subset of the Nut and Fancy project. You might have some GA stuff going on too. But there's a lot of channels on YouTube that do it. Some really great flying out there. My dad got killed in general aviation. You know that story. I proceeded on to put that behind me and went on to become a private pilot myself, a commercial pilot myself, and get all my ratings, and then go into the Air Force for a 21-year career. You guys know that. As far as I know, general aviation, and I'm not the expert, is kind of wheezing along. Fortunately, private airports have not been shut down. If anything, they've slightly increased. There are magazines like Fly Magazine that have talked about this. That is very good to see. I think we should have a very thriving general aviation industry and community in the United States. It's good for our self-defense. It's good for people who want jobs in the flying area. If I had a plane, what would I own? Whew, good question. Probably an RV6 is what I do. Maybe an RV4. But how would I fit it in my current schedule? They're expensive to maintain. The annuals are expensive. Tactical Doodle's coming up with his aviation ratings. I don't know if you guys know this, but he just became a private pilot last year. Yeah, so he's working through his ratings, and maybe we'll make videos on that, of how he's doing it and what he plans to do with it. Like, I think he wants to go be a commercial pilot or something, airline pilot. Then Charlie says, I am a frustrated pilot. Around 1982, I graduated college. It was my dream to fly S3s for the Navy, maybe C-130s, but it never came to pass. I got my privates in 92, but a few years later, I became a deputy sheriff. He goes on to say, every year or so, we have a multi-departmental roundup with various names. I get to fly with the Army National Guard Helo unit, function as a ground-air liaison. Then he goes and says, I'm in my 20th year of law enforcement with the same sheriff's office. I started as a corrections officer for the first 6 months, then worked as uniform patrol, ending as shift supervisor sergeant. 9 years as a detective, working mostly felonies against people, with the majority of those bringing sexual and physical abuse crimes against children. Now I'm back in uniform working as a school resource officer. I'm also a SWAT crisis hostage negotiator, and I've led our team for about 6 years. Let's see, he goes in and says, I have various guns and weapon systems. I am a Glock 40 caliber guy, and mostly due to your introductions, that's what he says, incorporate Kel-Tecs into my on and off duty systems. I also have, so I don't think I've told you this yet. What guns do you think I have with me today, by the way, on this camp trip? In fact, I know I didn't tell you. And he kind of jogged my memory. One is a Kel-Tec BF9. It's always in my tank bag because it's so lightweight. And then you probably didn't see this coming. SIG 226. What? Awesome. Couple reasons. Just because I love it and I want to fondle it tonight when I go to sleep. That's one reason. And then also on the web store, that's nutnfancybigcartel.com, I shoot playing cards. And so I'll sell those in really high quality holders. And I want to shoot some SIG 226 ones in this location. How cool is that? I love it. Oh, it's just kind of a cool collectible for TMP, that's all. Then he goes on to say, my current project is to replace my evil AR and AK with more innocent looking guns. I wouldn't buy off on that at all. Evil looking guns are cool. Evil looking guns, that's protectionist lingo there. I would go to the Mini 14 or Mini 30, but don't like their magazines. I just bought a Kel-Tec SU-16 CE, really like it. Please lobby Kel-Tec to produce a 7.62-39 rifle in the SU platform. Cool, I lobbied them just now, if they watch this. Oh yeah, then the guy gives me $20 IHF. Please accept my enclosed donation. I know that it will reach the hands of someone who needs it much more than you or me. Hope our paths cross one day. That is Charlie. 21 or 20-year sheriff dude there in Nebraska. Did I get that right? Actually, doesn't say where he's at. Next up, we have Charles. Did I read Andrew? I think I did. Next up is a 4-year-old letter. What? Received in October 2011. Written by Charles L. Cawthorn. He's from Livonia, Georgia. I wonder if you're still around, Charles. Are you around? Anyways, he wrote, once upon a time, please find enclosed a shoulder patch that is the official insignia of our local city, all volunteer fire department. We have 34 members, waiting list to get on. We strive for excellence. We watch as a department. I guess you can see the patch by now. We watch your videos and really enjoy them. As a department, I like your honest and straightforward approach to gear reviews. I'm not poor by any stretch, but certainly not rich either. I don't like wasting my hard-earned money on junk. I sent my son, who is a college wrestler and a freshman, to your live your life to impress yourself video. I hope and pray that some of it sinks in. I told my wife that after seeing it, it sure was nice to hear someone else saying some of the things we say all the time in the department. He's heard it all before, but maybe hearing it from someone else like you will help. Keep the videos coming. Charles in, where are you? Oh yeah, Georgia. I wonder if you're around, dude. I hope you are. I guess that's the proper way for the patch. And then we go to Blake Sweeten. He didn't really say where he's from, and I lost his envelope. This was in 2013. Did he write me? March of 2013. Now, if you're wondering once again why this is so weird with the dates, is because I just grabbed the letters and I didn't have an organizational system until now. Now I finally organize them according to dates. So I'll answer all of them eventually. Once upon a time, he wrote, sorry for the crude handwritten note. My printer died a couple days ago and I haven't gotten it replaced yet. Actually, I can read your writing, dudes. You're doing great. See this? It's good. Not bad. Anyway, I wanted to say thanks for the awesome sharpening job on my knife, and even more for the awesome Kershaw you tossed in with it. Oh, I remember you. Yeah, I sent him a couple blades. And I do that occasionally, just viewers, send you guys something just out of the blue. It's kind of a fun way to surprise stuff. And yes, I am fondling my SIG as we discuss these things. Both were shaving, sharp, and outstanding. Guess I need to pick up an Apex Edge Pro sharpener myself now. Lots of great sharpeners out there. Not just Edge Pro. I use that one and I get great results with it. As a fan, I appreciate the extra effort you went to signing, sharpening, and shipping. All of those things take time, which is you sure have no excess of or money to. Definitely above and beyond the call. If your kids, scout troop, ever wants a tour of Lehigh Police Department. Oh, this is another police officer. I guess he's in Lehigh, which is not too far away from where I'm at. If I can ever give you something back to you, let me know. I didn't be happen to come out and help you pick up brass on range day. Thanks, keep up the work. I guess police officer Blake Sweeten. I tell you, we got a lot of cops that watch the project. We do, and this will be a great time to show you this amazing, wonderful, heartfelt picture sent by Rez. Look at this. Police officer with a baby owl. Oh, I just love that picture. It's so cool. And Reds wrote a really cool picture, if you remember. It was a video I made and met him at the shooting range. Video gamer, shoots in real life. And he did not want me to read it on air, so I will not do that. I will respect his wishes. Let me just summarize by saying that he loved all your responses. He was very grateful. He's on a track of getting out and doing real life adventures, and I think he's a better person, by his own words, for having done that. Cool. By the way, my glasses right now are the ones I just reviewed. ESS, love them. Love the shade. These bronze lenses. Oh, I'm getting distracted. Next up, Cody Markham. He's a staff sergeant at Nellis Air Force Base. He asked me about SERE school. My name is Staff Sergeant Cody Markham. I'm a longtime fan of TNP. Keep up the hard work. Anyways, I'm an aircrew flight equipment craftsman for the 58th Rescue Squadron Nellis. I've been on active duty for a while, more than 6 years now. I spent the majority of my 6 years trying to cross-train into the SERE specialist career field. I've encountered several setbacks and shortfalls, but I still find the drive and motivation day in and day out. So far, since I started training, I have broken my third metatarsal in my left foot, failed to pass the PAST test standards at selection, and now had major surgery on my shoulder. Your videos give me give me inspiration to continue staying hungry and motivated. Thank you. As soon as I recover from my shoulder, I'm going to reapply for the third time. This time I will make it. Thank you for all that you do, and I hope this letter finds you well. P.S. I would love to hear some of your SERE school stories. That's Cody in Nellis. Sounds like you've had some bad physical luck, like you're breaking things. There's only so much you can do with the heredity that you have. In other words, I know football players, both young and older football players, and older, I'm talking college careers, even professional athletes. They have great motivation, they have great drive. But unfortunately, they don't have a body that can withstand the damage and the hard abuse that a very physical sport like football requires. If you were to translate that into military career, being a specialist, a special operator, it's very demanding. The physical conditioning you'll do in those career fields, very demanding. I don't know if I could have done it just because of my knees, for a lot of other reasons, but that's one of them. And if that may or may not be in your control. So if something breaks, really not in your control. What you can do is be in shape, get down to a good weight, whatever that weight is, be super lightweight, and you gotta want it. I've talked so much about that. Like Officer and a Gentleman, Richard Gere, you've got to want it. And that will give you the drive and motivation to overcome the hardships as you go through that physical conditioning process. And you meet and pass that selection board. There's a lot of things you can do in life and be successful at. I don't want you to think it's just SERE, and if I don't get this SERE thing in the Air Force, then I'll be miserable. Don't be like that. But I think you can get it, and I think you should press on. Make friends with everybody in the career field. Having that social interaction and the networking is huge. If someone in that career field knows you, you'll be amazed. They can pick up the phone and go, hey, this Cody guy at Nellis, he's an all right kid, and we like him, and we wouldn't mind working with him. You might find that you may pass your tests more easily that way. Just how the world works sometimes. It was that way in our military unit. Air Guard. I was on the hiring board. You know, if I sat across the table and the guy's interviewing, he seems self-involved, kind of arrogant, weird, I don't want to go tripping with him. I think every unit in the military is that way. Every organization is that way. They want to be around people who are cool, good work ethic, funny helps. So hopefully you have those qualities. You'll start that networking and you get your body healed. And then he asks, do you have some SERE school stories? Yeah, I got a couple. What surprised me about when I went through SERE training in the Air Force is how people, how do I put this? People in my class, we went through air survival, land survival. I went through ejection seat training in Homestead Air Force Base right before it got wiped out by the hurricane. And then I went up to Washington State for land survival and SERE training. I loved it. I mean, I was in my element. I'll show you some pictures again. You've seen them before. I mean, I was eating it up. I mean, this is like a camp out for me. Egressing from these guys, it was kind of fun for me, and they didn't catch me. I was, saddled with some guys I didn't think were that good. One was a navigator off an AWACS, and he was loud, clanking along in the woods, and I was like, dude, you got to be quiet. We're going to get pinched out here. We have bad guys out there looking for us, trying to capture us. And unfortunately, we brought our, I think it was a 3-man team as we're evading together, and we never got caught. Now, eventually they will catch you. Eventually they'll put you through a prisoner of war exercise. I can't really talk about the specifics. And another thing that kind of surprised me is and this kind of goes to what I was saying, is how people kind of lose it. Even in training, that people very quickly will collaborate with the enemy, is what I saw. And no, I'm not making that up. And I'm like, dude, this is just a training exercise. But they lost it, man. And they would do things to, I don't know, turn in their fellow troops. And I was just shocked. I never did. And in one part, I never told you guys this. I was in, I got to talk in general terms because I can't really discuss the details. Let's just say I was in a confined space and I was there for a period of time, a long period of time. I'm 6'3", and then they took me out of the confined space and I'm butt naked and all the guards are lined up and they drug me across a concrete slab by my feet, butt naked, and I broke out laughing. They didn't like that. That was bad. And I'm not saying that I did not take the training seriously. I very much did. But I have a very good feel for when something is ridiculous. And that was so ridiculous. I was just picturing myself standing apart and seeing myself being drugged. And I started laughing. So I had some big guy, bigger than me, huge dude. He's probably 6'5", 300 pounds, grabbed his towel, wrapped it around my neck, and he lifted me up completely off the ground. And he shook me. And I do remember that. I wasn't laughing after that, by the way, in case you're wondering. Camden Foster. These are his kids. Look at this. This is kids in his fleece suit. Real super quick. Son Jaron, he lives to be outside. Giving mom the gears. The day's wasted if you haven't done 7 labs at Grandpa's by 9 a.m. Oh, 7 laps. Oh, that's cute. Look at that. Good mom, too. Even the toughest of zygotes pass out after enough adventuring. This little dude even sleeps with deliberate purpose. So good dad, good mom. He writes, I'm writing you with 3 purposes: a sincere thank you, a discussion of a common interest, and a possible tip for Mrs. Nutnfancy's RA. First, thank you for all the hard work. You're welcome. I owe you a great deal of gratitude for your Some Kind of Good Life Philosophy video. I remember this letter. It's good. Over the past 3 years, I've had some serious ups and downs with my life. My girlfriend of a relatively brief time and I had our son in January 13. We were both in college and she still is. Holding together a family you weren't planning for is difficult and has brought a great deal of hardship. Yes, I can imagine. Additionally, I went through some difficult transitions with work and an out-of-state move. This brought my family to the brink of breaking. Some Kind of Good video found me at a particularly dark time with my family. I literally wept the entire length of the video the first times I watched it. I'd lost touch with the man my family deserves, and that helped light the way home. I'm happy to report that these things are on the rise, and we've been a family living together for his entire life. This was written recently, by the way, in August 2015. I'm incredibly proud of that. I'm also incredibly proud of my little zygote son. We take micro adventures regularly, and he's pulled the trigger on a single-shot 22 with major support from Dad. Nutton, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and this is his writing. For the video, it inspired me when I was at the bottom of my life. Well, thank you for watching the video, and there's a lot of people that will see a topic like that, a real meaningful topic, and they'll just skim right past it. And they go for the fluff in life, they go for the pop culture, so congratulations to you for watching that. About real life, about real stuff, because this is, you know, super important stuff you're talking about. I know without a doubt that your inspiration has played a major role in my son being able to call a place home with Mom and Dad. I can never repay you for this. You're welcome. Thank you for writing that. Second, we share a common interest that you sneak into the content, but it doesn't get many views. Food. Cooking is one of my greatest passions in life, and I've used it as a way to bond with my son. We can't get out and adventure every day, but we eat 3 times a day so I can meal prep and event with him. My son sits at the counter while I chop ingredients, and he shakes the spice bottles out to add his touch of flavor. It brings such joy to my life, to my son, my girlfriend, and I get these hours of cooking to spend on almost a daily basis, and I use that quiet to teach. My 2-year-old can already recite the first president and basis. He goes on to talk about other stuff. We do amazing homemade meals like shepherd's pie, lamb, apple pies, tacos, lasagna, creamy potato soup. Awesome. I do need to do more cooking videos. I've said that. A lot of it, like I've talked about, audience support. Third, my passion for cooking, girlfriend, being in nursing school has led me to be very interested in herbs for both food and medicine. He goes on and says, Mrs. Nutton suffers from RA. Yes, she does. She's on heavy doses of methotrexate. Ginger root is supposed to help reduce the inflammation caused by RA. Ginger does a great deal for me in that arena. Just slice it thin, steep it in tea, drink it. If you're ever in northern Illinois, call me. We'll go out and party, go eat some lasagna. Thank you for the great pictures, the letter. That was Camden, I think, there. And Jake Jordan's next. Check out Jake's AR-15. Dude! I met this guy in person. He was cool. Yeah, Jake says, it was a shock to meet you. Makes me want to continue with the adventures of firearms in the outdoors. This is my AR-15. I took a month to build. CMMG, he talks about his parts he put in it. Then he says, keep up the badass work. Jake Jordan, you're welcome. Good meeting you, dude. I tell you guys, I meet you guys all the time in person. This is just one of them. Next up, this is Dustin Prittner. This is also an AR-15 letter. He says, my name is Dustin. He wrote this in 2014, so I'm only a year behind with this one. My name is Dustin, and aside here in Oklahoma City, that's what he writes. I'm a huge fan of the Nut and Fancy project, and I try to watch it as much as I possibly can, but it gets difficult with work and other daily activities. I'm currently watching your video, Nut and Fancy, with viewers' comments January 2014. As I type, I'm sorry to hear that Mrs. Nut and Fancy has arthritis. My prayers go out to her and your family. She's doing good now. She's functioning. We're just worried about the future, like liver and kidney damage with methotrexate. So thank you for your prayers. Just like you, we have our own burdens. We have our own challenges we have to deal with. My family means the world to me as well. My favorite video of yours are the gun reviews. Cool, because I do a lot of them for you guys. And when you go camping and cooking, like the tailgate stir fry and best chili in the snow. Another guy that likes my cooking videos. Cool. I'm actually going hunting tomorrow on Saturday. We're going to try to do some cooking myself. It's about time you did a review on the Smith & Wesson Shield. Did it. Yeah, hopefully you watched that. It's still my most comfortable CCW, but recently bought the Smith & Wesson M&P 9C and love that one too. Since getting my CCL, my CCW has not left my side. Talks about that more. I've been around firearms my entire life with my father Mike. As a child, we went out hunting for small game a bit. I recently bought my first AR-15 because of your review on the LWRC, and that is the route I went. You're welcome. That's a great gun. I bought the M6A2 SPR, and it is FDE in coloration, fitted with a UBR stock Vortex scope. Then he goes, I could go on, but don't have to. I know you're getting bored of my rants. Thank you for your videos. I don't think all TMPers could live without them. Then Dustin says, get out of your funk. We need you back. I did. I may get in another one. It just happens. Audience support keeps me active, that's for sure. And this is a photo of his gun. I don't think that's an M6A2. That looks like a personal defense carbine by LWRC. Even better, actually. And here we go into Darren, call sign Vanimal, Van Langenberg in SoCal. He writes, and by the way, he has very neat writing. You don't have to type when you write this neat. I've been watching your videos and lurking in the comments for a couple years. Let me tell you, you absolutely suck. I know, I always do that. It's stupid. Yeah, you are awesome, sir. Thank you. I'm a Marine veteran and really noticed our rights diminish in the last few years. I'm no stranger to Second Amendment infringements as I live in California, Los Angeles County, for that matter. Concealed carry is almost impossible to do legally here. This was written, by the way, November 2014. And I think California's concealed carry situation has improved a lot. Yay! Because of the gun owners in California. So kudos to them. And the NRA, rolling in and spending a lot of money on that issue. Seriously, the NRA and GOA, but mostly NRA. Though there is some legislation that may make it possible. Puerta versus San Diego Sheriff. I think that was the case that overturned it. I'd like to thank you for really showing how it's a responsibility for any freedom-loving American, gun owner or not, in my opinion, to be an NRA member. Speaking of the NRA, I didn't know this was coming. It's actually because of you I am one on the payment plan for disabled vet lifetime. I'm also trying to set aside what I can for the NRA ILA, all thanks to you. I do recommend you give some money every year to NRA ILA. I probably send off $200 to them every year, especially during election times. They use it for radio ads. There's been a lot of things they've overturned by educating the public. I've talked about them on camera before. It really is the NRA ILA that does all the heavy lifting for our gun rights. They do more good, and they cannot use regular NRA funds. So you actually have to you know, give a donation to them specifically, and I don't think that is tax deductible. Freaking awesome. I can't turn the camera, but an eagle's flying right there. Ah, so cool. He just went behind the trees. Awesome. And last time I did QTN, there was a deer walking in the background. I don't know what you'll see now. I don't really have a great one, but if I talk quieter, maybe you'll see something. The guy wrote it in the comments, like, check out the deer at this time. It's right when I was up here. Pretty cool. Oh, let's see. Where did I leave off? I meant to write you for some time. Thank you for doing what you do. You're welcome. I do have a question. How would you advise me as a Californian as to whether I should move out of state, say Washington, or stay close to my family in California? I have a 1.5-year-old and my wife, who is awesome and supports me 100% for just about anything I want to do while giving me excellent counsel. Where I currently live is starting to rise in crime, so my first concern is to maintain a safe place for my family. I can move closer to my folks, which is to live in a safe area, but still in California. This is a real dilemma for me. Thank you for your time and service. Prior Air Force and current TMP. That is Staff Sergeant, USMC veteran, Vanimal, Darren Van Langenberg in SoCal. If you're ever in SoCal area, look me up. I just might. What to do? Move to not move. I don't think moving is always a solution to everyone's problems. They often think that the grass is greener on the other side. A lot of people see, you know, the scenery that I do the project in, and they go, wow, that's really cool. I want to move out there. And it is cool, but every place has its downsides. Nothing is perfect. You guys know I love California. California is such a beautiful state. I think people overall there are pretty cool, especially in the Northern California area. I really enjoy being around them. It's a very chill and relaxed, I don't know, culture. It is very anti-gun. It's very liberal politically. The funny thing is, and I've never told you this, maybe I have, I actually get along with liberals, even hippies, really good. I mean, we just laugh, we carry on, we joke, we almost have the same off-the-wall sense of humor. And when they find out that I'm pretty much a constitutional conservative, they're like, whoa, what? You're one of those guys? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I laugh, I watch the same funny stuff you do, and I'm a person, I love animals, I love nature, but I also believe in gun rights, I believe in freedom, I believe in limited government, no apologies. As far as your decision to move, maybe pray about it. That's what I'd say. And what does the man upstairs tell you to do? I would pretty much factor my family into it. Whatever's best for my family, for your child, for my wife, that's where you should go. That might entail you being a better dad. So if you're happier in another location, you go, hey, if I'm in this location, I'll be happier, I'll be better, I'll make more money. Then do it. As far as living in a dangerous neighborhood, you know, if I woke up every day and I was really wondering if someone's going to come through my front door, I will move out of that situation. I would not put up with that. Because that is your living environment day to day, and that's a lot of stress to put up with. You know, you shouldn't have to worry about it. You shouldn't have to worry about when you come home that your house is going to be broken into, that you have, you know, thugs hanging out on your front curb when you pull up. You might have to, you know, get into it with them. It's time to move if you find yourself in that situation. And combating them directly is usually not a solution either. Legal problems, it leads to more violence, usually just leaving. So I wish you luck in your decision. That's the best I can come up with for you right now. Look at this picture. This is Henry. He's in Connecticut. And am I saying that right? I'm sorry. It's Henry C.T. Patterson in Tucker, Georgia. This is his pretty girlfriend at the pool. I think he's just showing off to us. My awesome girlfriend and I, before we dive in the 6 million gallon ocean voyage tank, the largest in the world at the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta. The tank has whale sharks and giant mantas, among other things. After this, I was assaulted by a carp. I made that last part up. He wasn't. My name is Henry Patterson from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm 23 years old, just graduated from the U of A in May with my bachelor's degree in public relations. Congratulations, way to go to school, way to finish, way to see it through. I'm currently pursuing my goal of becoming an airline pilot. How cool is that? I just passed my multi-engine commercial check ride yesterday, Saturday, October 26th. I think this is pretty recent. I also hold an instrument rating. My plan is to get my CFI ratings, build my hours as an instructor until I can land a job flying something bigger and faster. I love the content of TMP. I've been watching the project since I first started exploring my interest in firearms back in 2010. I enjoy the gear reviews, but can't say enough good things about the philosophy videos and the adventure videos. Living on the East Coast where there is zero public land to go exploring and shooting. I just said that, by the way, too, in that desert video I posted about the get-together we're having in October. It's like, yeah, East Coast, you don't have this. You don't have this. Look at where I'm at right now. I mean, there's no one around. I'm in the freaking wilderness out here. It's awesome. Yeah, East Coast, you don't have it. I envy the vast expanses of public land in the West you have to go exploring and adventuring. I don't have much time to go out adventuring since my flight training keeps me glued to the books. So little time to do that I do have has to count. And that's the thing too. When you, and this guy's a perfect example, that if you want to achieve that career, you're not going to have a lot of time for goofing around. I'm at the stage in my life where I've done all my legwork, my career is established, and I'm very fortunate to have time to fit TMP in it and to do these adventures and share them with you and inspire others to get out and live their lives too and invest their very limited time here on Earth. But he's at the phase of his life when he needs to focus on his job. Doodle's going through that too. So you're focused on school, you're focused on your career. Don't lose sight of that, because if you change focus off that, it's going to lead to failure in your career. You just have to put the time in. I've talked about it. Any ideas for guys like me that are a few hours drive away from anything that resembles wilderness but still want to get outside and do something awesome? Also, why is there no general aviation in the project? I told you this was coming. The only videos I recall is when you mentioned you flying outside the Air Force in one of the Tim Vetere videos, good name there, where you mentioned the possibility of renting a Cessna to fly to his farm and deliver the TMP letters. Well, this guy does watch. In a video where you mentioned Doodle was working on his PPL. Yeah, like I said, Doodle finished and he got it. But most importantly, when is the Southeastern TMP meetup? We need a gathering for East Coast TMPers to meet up and network, because as you mentioned in your most recent video, TMP is a family. You are right, Henry. Keep the videos rolling. I love the project and the ideas and values TMP embodies. Okay, first his question, where do I go out and do mini adventures? Wherever you live, mini adventures await you. They are there. Get on the internet and find out what people are doing locally. You will probably find patches of woods, day hikes. A super fun adventure I highly recommend you do is go get a little pack raft. In fact, I'm going to go into Amazon for this episode of QTN and I'm going to show you what I think are good pack rafts that you guys can buy and go out to your local small lakes. I would be careful putting them in a river because they are rafts and they're hard to steer in the river, voice of experience. And get out, take your dogness with you, take your little kids with you, put your life preservers on, and go have a blast. And just float in the water, maybe do some fishing, maybe get some water toys. And I did this with my kids. Anywhere you live, you can find adventure. Wilderness adventure is what I like, but I also do a lot of motorcycling too, and that's on the coast of California. It's up here in the mountains, hiking, shooting .22, shooting air rifles in your backyard. That was one of the first videos I did in the nutnfancy project with the Red Ryder BB gun. Just set up those big army men, some matchbox cars, teach your kids to shoot. And you don't even have to leave the house for that. Your kids will always remember that. They go, man, I remember when my dad used to shoot BB guns with me. So, how far along are we? Yeah, we're doing okay. Maybe 2 more. He writes, I was wondering if you could give me a little guidance in my life right now. I guess the best place to start is in the past. When I was younger, I was blessed with above average intelligence. I was able to start college 2 years early. I did great for the first 2 years, and I transferred to a large university to major in physics. Got away from home, discovered the partying and drinking scene. Remember how I said you need to focus and don't lose focus? I think he kind of learned this lesson. And I didn't even know this was coming. This is exactly what I'm talking about. My first semester, I blew the scholarship, which was the top scholarship the university offered. Oh, dude. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I was talking about. He had this awesome scholarship and he lost it. The next semester, I did even worse, and my dad convinced me to move back home. He tried to persuade me to join the military to mature, but I didn't. I just started working. That's a life lesson you went through. You learned a very hard lesson, and you paid a very hard price for it. A lot of us do that. It's not the end of the world. You were an idiot. We've all done that. We all just go, why did I do that? It's really easy if you listen to the messages of the world to end up like that. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. You know, live for pleasure. Live for partying. You can see where it got you. Now I just turned 28. I have definitely matured since then. I do not make poor choices as I used to, but now I'm stuck at a major crossroads in my life. I work a job that pays half decent, but does not offer any advancements or time off. I do not get any holidays off, and I work every other weekend. It is definitely not where I want to be for the rest of my life. I'm taking one class this semester, hoping to get back on a path to a degree. But my job doesn't give me the time to take enough classes to finish in any reasonable amount of time. I would love to quit work and work part-time, but it's hard to make a living wage from part-time work. I've always wanted to move to Alaska, and there are many jobs there that I could qualify with my work experience that I would pay enough that within a year I could save enough for part-time work and go to school. I considered the Guard, National Guard he's talking about. I regretted not taking my dad's advice and joining the military years ago. My girlfriend, who I've been going out with for over a year now, I've known her for 13 years, is in her last year at medical school. She is wanting to get married and start having kids soon, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Let me tell you, you need to stay with this girl. She sounds quality. Don't dump her. I told her that I need to have what I want in life figured out before I make that type of commitment. She is going to try to apply for a residence program in Alaska, which she will start after her schooling is over, but she's not guaranteed any particular location. My question is this: do I stay with her, continue working and taking classes as I can, join the Guard and try to work part-time to finish my degree before we move for her residence? Or do I take a job in Alaska if I can and hope that she's able to get her residence up there? Whew, that's a heavy life question, my friend. Do you love her? Do you enjoy being with her? If the answer is yes, then I think that's your decision, right? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? That's what I tell you guys in these QTN episodes. You should have a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, and a 10-year plan of where you want to be. If you don't set life plans, then you kind of just drift along, and as you learn, you can be very distracted. But if you sit down, you go, in 10 years, like that guy back there, he goes, I want to be an airline pilot. Okay, so a realistic thing for him is that in 5 years, I'm working for a commuter airline. I'm a captain in the left seat of a CRJ, Canadian regional jet, Canadair, racking hours, and then I'll qualify myself for the majors a few years after that. And you write it down. You have a personal journal and you keep it. Where do you see yourself? This is Noah, right? In 10 years. If you see her part of your life, then you need to stick with her. A lot of people fail in their relationships, by the way. I'm talking marriages with their girlfriends, is because they're very selfish. I'm not talking about career here, but I'm talking about we live in a pleasure-oriented world. And by the way, this is going to have to be the last letter. I'm out of time. And that is a ticket to misery. You know, if you live just to have fun for yourself, drinking, partying, taking selfies, you're not going to be happy in life. Don't believe me? Look at your friends. Look at ourselves, how we've lived in the past. Think about when you were most miserable in life. Were you self-centered? Were you concentrated on yourself, on partying, having lots of sex, drinking, all that stuff? Chances are the answer is yes. And chances are you were not happy, nor will you ever be happy. A successful relationship, and I've been married, 28 years now, is that you serve your partner. That it's not just about you. Getting back to your girlfriend, you should support her. Here she is working through medical school. She's busting her butt. She's cranking on the books. Support her. Be Mr. Mom for a while. Get her career going. If you have to go to Alaska, do it. Make her happy. Support the heck out of her. Get her grounded. And then when you have her income coming in, then you can go and get the job you want. And you need to sit down and spend some time thinking about what that would be. Remember, the military has a lot of downsides to it. You're acting like military is like all that. You join a Guard unit, and I've been up to Eielson. They have a great Guard unit up there, KC-135s, or whichever one you want. They're going to call you up in the middle of the night and say, pack your bags, we're going to war. If you're in a deployment unit, which you probably will be. Is that what you want? It sounds like you're smart. You were going into physics. I think you could do a lot with that. You could do engineering. There's going to be jobs up in Alaska for you, I think, in the big cities. In the small communities, maybe not. But where your wife ends up, I'd support her. And then after that, I would, get going. There you go. So look outwardly, take care of your girlfriend. She sounds awesome. If, on the other hand, you don't really love her, and it's not something that, you know, you can see in your future, then do all the above, but you may have to make that hard decision to say thank you, but no thanks. I hope that's not the case. So it sounds like she's cool. Out of time. I got to set up camp. This is an overnight motorcycle trip for me. And then we'll do QTN later. The P.O. box has been running at the top of the screen. If you have a life question, gear question, let me know. The project continues. It will for as long as I have audience support, just like I said. Thanks so much. See ya.